On the heels of a recent bout of political drama in the Tobago House of Assembly, the body is once again in the public eye as a preliminary audit report uncovers over $100 million in possible corruption. That's over 14.7 million US. THA Chief Secretary Farley Augustine was recently deposed from his position of authority in the Progressive Democratic Patriots by PDP leader Watson Duke, who himself resigned as THA Deputy Secretary. Last Thursday, Augustine explained that an audit ordered by the THA Executive Council in February of this year was being done in a stepwise manner.
It's important to note that a phased approach is being used to execute this audit because of the quantum and the different levels of work that is required for the investigation. Accordingly, for the purpose of this report, the examiner looked at the road resurfacing program. Let's get that clear. This first report we have received is on the road resurfacing program. The auditors are still working on their reports for the road restoration program, the emergency restoration works program, the emergency infrastructure rehabilitation program, and the agriculture access roads program.
In just this one program, road restoration and resurfacing for the period 2020 to 2021, several red flags have already been raised. Augustine detailed some of the discrepancies that have been found, including in the procurement process. He says that contracts for 80 road projects were split between just 3 companies and that most of those contracts were unsigned. Augustine questioned who exactly from the THA had authorized those projects and provided further details of the costs documented in 78 of those contracts.
The examiner found that 96% of the 78 contracts, signed or unsigned, produced or priced, or the prices, could be fully reconciled with the engineer's estimates. Let me read that again. The examiner found that 96% of the 78 contracts, signed or unsigned, the contract price could be fully reconciled, or 100% the very same price as the engineer's estimates. The remaining 4% that could not be fully reconciled were on average plus 3% to minus 9% difference from the engineer's estimates. These results indicate that the engineer's estimates were used to determine the prices of the contracts, signed or unsigned. So there was apparently no negotiations, no requests of the 3 special blue-eyed contractors to provide any quotation. But for 96% of the works done, the prices on the eventual contracts, both signed and unsigned contracts, were identical to the internal estimates done by the engineer. Given such circumstances, the examiner then sought to test the accuracy of the engineer's estimates.
The examiner, Augustine said, sought the advice of an independent cost expert who discovered that the THA Division of Infrastructure Quarries and the Environment Engineer was charging nearly $150 more per square meter to repave the road than the market rate. When multiplied across the total square footage for the 80 road projects, the results were alarming.
When the total square meters for the 80 projects were multiplied, first by the cost of $700 per square meter, as estimated by the independent cost expert, totaling $151.5 million. Secondly, the engineer's estimate at $848.14 per square meter, total $183.8 million. That results in a difference or a reduction of the estimated total costs of approximately $32.1 million. In other words, the difference between the engineers' inflated estimates and the real estimates as per the independent cost experts was a difference of $32.1 million.
Further probing revealed that materials estimates given by the DIQE engineer compared with figures from the independent cost expert were almost 80 million TT, or almost 12 million US dollars, higher than existing materials costs. Auditors, the THA Chief Secretary said, then selected 21 roads at random to examine. Of those selected, there was no evidence of any work having been done, even though 4 of the projects had been fully funded to the tune of $15.5 million, over $2.25 million US dollars. Augustine has promised to forward the auditor's findings to the relevant law enforcement agencies for further investigation of the allegations of corruption and fraud. He noted that the protection of whistleblowers will be important in this matter, saying that efforts have already been made to stop him from shedding light on the contents of this preliminary report.